Hey everyone, what is going on, and welcome back to the channel here. My name is Josh and I'm the Daily Explorer. And here in this video, I'm in St. Vincent Cemetery here in Akron, Ohio. It's an amazing historical cemetery with graves dating back to about the World War I to Civil War time. So there's so much information to cover in this video, so many really cool graves in this area. It's an awesome video. I had a lot of fun making this one, so hopefully you guys will stay tuned to the end because we've got some really cool stuff coming in this video. So let's jump into it, friends. One of the area's oldest Catholic cemeteries and a living timeline of more than a century of local history. This isn't just a patch of grass and stones, it's the final home for generations of families, veterans, and community members whose stories helped shape this region. The cemetery sits just west of where the original St. Vincent de Paul parish once stood, connected deeply with the early Catholic community in Akron, dating back to the mid-1800s. Here you'll find headstones spanning decades, from Civil War veterans to the 20th century residents, each marking a life lived through the eras of tremendous change. But the history here isn't just in the names or dates, it's in the layout itself. The grounds were thoughtfully designed when the cemetery moved to the site in the late 1800s, with traditional Christian orientation and sections that reveal how burial practices evolved over time. So join me now as I walk these pathways, read the stones, and uncover the stories etched in this sacred ground. Let's explore this St. Vincent Cemetery together, friends. Okay, here we are at the entrance of St. Vincent Cemetery. This is located right off of South Main Street. Got a lot of busy traffic there. And it's quite amazing to see a old cemetery like this right in the city. This is the entrance, like I said, so we're going to jump into it. Graves on both sides, so there's a lot of interesting stuff going on here. Lots of history, so let's see what we can find, friends. It's going to be a little hard to access some of these graves, of course. We're going to have to jump over this hill here. But I'm definitely eyeballing that mausoleum right there. I've got a few graves up there we're going to check out. So, all right. Awesome. Awesome. This is definitely really cool. I love seeing the history, especially, like I said, right in the city. It's even more amazing. This is usually kind of plowed, I guess, down through here, so cars can get down through here, but it is not plowed. I had to park a little ways away and walk up to this destination here. I've driven by this cemetery many times, but I have never been here, so definitely really excited to check it out. As soon as I can get up on this hill, we're going to check out the left side, and we'll work our way around. So, let's see if I can climb this hill. There we go. Give us a good idea checking out some of these old graves. This person looked like they passed away in 1864. Without uncovering too much snow there, we can kind of see that. It's absolutely incredible. O'Hara, 1933 to 1924. Isn't that something? That's amazing. Okay, let's head our way, before I go too much over this way. Here's Crosby, 1818, it looks like, to 1895. And then wife, 1830 to 1900. It's amazing, living that long, especially back in those days. Looks like it has a cross built into the very top of the headstone, but that's covered in snow and ice. Incredible. Definitely love it. Love to see these old graves. Some of these are weathered pretty good. So like this one, good example, we really can't tell a whole lot of what it says. Or at least it's tricky for me to tell right here where I'm standing. Maybe a little easier to see on video. Some of these are more rustic stones too that aren't really cut solid or flat. Here's a U.S. veteran here. Brennan, Bridget, and then Thomas R. 1856, 1903, 1838, 1930. U.S. veteran. It looks like somebody's put a sticker there, so I'm assuming that's a veteran. Very, very cool. And thank you for your service, for sure. Okay, here's Burns. I'm about to revisit over here when it's not as snowy. We just got like a whole foot of snow here, friends. So That is tons of fun. Okay, let me head on over towards the main road here. Or the main, I guess you could say it's the road for the cemetery, but like I said, it's not plowed. So I can check out these front graves here. De Ross. Like I said, I believe the vast majority of these are probably military graves. The mausoleum looks incredible over there. Can't wait to check it out. Vaughn, this one's really cool because I don't really think I've seen one with like a 3D marble or like a 3D inscription, I guess you could say. I don't know if I've really seen one like that, or at least not too often. That's pretty cool. Vaughn, Vaughan, or Vaughn. Looks like Vaughan. Some really old graves right up front here. See, this one's weathered away. Trying to be careful not to fall down this hill right here, friends. Fall on my butt. I'll become one of these guys in here. They'll find me all frozen up in here. Yeah, see, this one's weathered away. I really can't see what it says, which is unfortunate. Right behind that, we have Ehret, E-H-R-E-T-T. It's hard to read, but 1826 to 1897. Okay. Mary Howley or Hovey, I believe it says. It's a bit hard to see that one. There's a couple of the bigger boys over here in this area. Howland, Thomas N., 1822 to 1906. And of course, 1867, 1859. Just incredible. My gosh. This one here just has an RIP. It doesn't really say any sort of year or anything like that, which is definitely unfortunate. Let's see if I can carefully step through here. There's one right in between this mausoleum here, which is kind of beautiful. Looks like a somewhat of a newer one, I guess, maybe. There's quite a few people buried right here. Dunphy, Patrick H., Martha, William, Natalie, Eleanor, Martha. 2 Marthas. Yeah, that's amazing. There's at least 6 people buried in this one area. It's like, from what I can tell, the most recent 1978. But yeah, they probably take up this entire section. They're buried right here. Here's this right-hand side of this mausoleum. It's definitely going to be what we're going to check out now, for sure. It's all boarded up. They've got it boarded up, but here's a good view of this side here. Mausoleum for Neville. Definitely pretty amazing. Yeah, this is definitely a very nice mausoleum for Neville here. It says IHS at the very top of that cross at the very top. Not really sure what that means, but all right, this is a view of this side. I tried to look on the inside, but I couldn't really get a good view. So I'm not really sure. It's a little tricky. Yeah, an awesome piece. So it's fallen apart a little bit over time, but for the most part, it looks like it's still in really good condition. Beautiful spires at the top. So definitely really cool. I wonder how many people are buried inside of this mausoleum. Looks like they got a sign that has fallen down right behind there, but yeah, it looks like it's in really good condition. So there's another hole right here at the very top. I'm assuming it's for ventilation and that type of thing there, but there's a hole right at the top. I wish I could put the camera right in there and get you guys right in there, but here's a nice shot with the sun kind of, or the moon. Sorry about that. The moon right in the background right there. So let's move on. We'll check out some more stuff here. See what other kind of graves are here. Patricia Latham, 1896. Looks like the passing date. That's what it looks like to me. Ellen, wife of Peter Carroll. 1896, 1893, right in that range there. That's what it looks like to me. Let's go check out some of these ones over here, and then we'll move on. Some of these are very historical names. A lot of veterans, like I said. There's pretty much a vast majority of this is historical as far as the wars, World War I, and also the Civil War. Richard S. Looks like Coughlin. John W. Coughlin. Private 7th Company. We have looks like a bunch of matching headstones over here, so I'm not sure if these are obviously probably all family headstones, but I'm not sure if they're connected to this one here or if they're connected to the larger one in the back, which is Messino. Looks like it could be Messino. So a lot of these match, these headstones, and that one right there, Messino, is nice and big. And it kind of matches the material used for these other ones on the side and behind me. So it's quite amazing. Multiple people here buried from these families. So much history here. Wish I could talk. It's getting a little loud as I'm heading up right up here towards these cars, but we'll try to hopefully drown that out as much as we can. 1912, and then his wife, John, and I can't really tell the name because the name's on top and it's frozen. Frozen pretty good. Let's see if I can. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. I can't really tell what it says. Keenan? Yeah, Keenan, it looks like it maybe says. Try to get as many of these as I can. If I go too close to that hill, I'm going to fall down that hill and mess myself up. West Camp. Definitely have to be careful over here. All right, Ollie F. Brown, Susie Brown, 1859, 1941, 1886, 1911, respectively. McFarland. Latham. Gravestone for Harris. Looks like 1959 death, and then 1977 death on that spouse gravesite there. Here's Bazzelli. I believe this is a very historical name, but I'm not 100% sure. So if you guys are aware of any of this history from Akron, and let me know what the Bazzelli name means as far as historical significance for the city of Akron here, that would be greatly appreciated. Because I'm not too sure. I just wasn't sure who was buried here in this cemetery. Like I said, this is my first time here, so I've been by here many times. I've just never had a chance to stop. So this video is awesome. I love stuff like this. Love history. If you guys love history as well, make sure you guys subscribe and hit that like button. I'm going to be posting as many videos as I can. All right, Curtin. Infant and son Billy. I'm not sure if he's passed away or not. It doesn't have a death date. Unless it's the same date. Wow, absolutely amazing. Somewhat sad in some aspects, but very, very amazing. It's great for Fisher with a very nice motif, emblem of a cross there. Okay, let's see if we can squeeze right back on through here very carefully. I'm at Cambridge. John and Catherine. There's McGowan right there. Ah, here's an old one. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Man, it's so hard to tell what it says. It says Walsh at the bottom, towards the bottom for the name. John Walsh, and I just can't tell the date. Looks like 1894 as far as when he had passed away and was buried. Here's Lombardi. There's so much to see in this cemetery. It is amazing. Omar. It's a nice view of the mausoleum there. It looks like, I'm looking around, and it looks like that is going to be the only mausoleum in this entire area. So that's definitely incredible in and of itself. Here's a gravestone that unfortunately looks like it's getting ready to topple over. Super sad, unless somebody intervenes. Yeah, it's just gonna fall over, and it could even break, unfortunately. So this one's a little crooked, but yeah, this one kind of looks like it's getting ready to fall too, actually. 1864, 1922. Kelly, 1866, 1904. Mary McGuire and Charles Kelly. Section 11. I'm assuming that's what that means. Family. Uncle, mother, and father. So mother, father, and son there. Paulino. This one has a baby here that didn't even get a name, it looks like. You got Concetta, Lucrezia, Joseph, and then baby. So poor little thing didn't even get a name. So very, very sad. Very sad. You know, what can you do? I guess wasn't my place to name that poor little baby. Gil Hooley, mother and daughter. There. Okay, I'm gonna go back up front here so we can kind of see as many of these graves as we can. Moving through this. We've got long gone there. Okay, right in front of long gone we have Akins. 1906 it looks like. For that one, here's a really interesting one. Curity, I believe it is. Definitely incredible. We've got a really old one over here behind me that's got some nice designs on it. It must have taken somebody some time to make that, I can imagine. It's quite amazing. It's almost got a newer, almost marble face. Almost. I'm sure it was all made together though. Harris is that grave there. Grave for Flynn. There's Gilhooly. I think we saw Gilhooly earlier in the video, so that's kind of interesting. Koch. Spizillo back there. Let's see what we've got right here. We've got an old one right here. 18 something to 1922 it looks like. Here's an interesting, I wonder if it's double-sided, this one here. This one here is Paul Berman. Winfred, Alfred, Agnes, and Edward. It is double-sided, but I'm not really sure. This front side is a little weathered. I can't tell what it says. You guys might be able to see it a little bit better on video, but Michael Riley is here. And we have Steese. So this grave is very beautiful. Here's another one of those kind of 3D worded designs here, so that's pretty cool. We got a couple back here. George, Frank L, Mary V. It's pretty cool. And they also have a very small one off to the side here. I'm not really sure what that is. I can't really read it. It's very hard to tell. It's very weathered, and it looks like it was added after the fact, but I really can't tell. Could be a kid of theirs. I'm not really too sure. And we're heading up on the old section here. I see signs that says old section. It doesn't even have a number. A lot of these are numbered sections and stuff, but here's a beautiful monument for Rippolino. Very cool. Giacomo and Agostina. 1929 and 1988. Isn't that something? It's amazing. And at the very top it has INRI. I'm not really sure what that means either. We saw another one earlier in the video that had some initials right at the very top, so I'm not really sure what that means. I'm gonna have to look that up and do a little bit of research on my cemetery history and that type of stuff. Di Napoli here. 1869, 1863. My gosh. Just incredible. Rest in peace, friends. Rest in peace. It's amazing. We're literally right in the city. There's buildings and warehouses all the way around this place, and it's definitely a very interesting cemetery where it's at. Because it was very hard to get in here because of all the traffic, and of course they haven't shoveled anything. Or here's a little cutout that they've got. I'm not really sure if they're going to add someone over here or if they're going to do some repairs over here. It's hard for me to really tell. I'm not going to go too close just in case there's a big hole there or something. But let's take a look at kind of the first grave heading into this old section here. Geo Bradley died in 1877. All right, Egan. And if you guys like paranormal stuff too, we're going to be doing some EVPs and some ghost hunting in this area. So these places usually tend to get pretty creepy at night. And I want to see if we can capture any sort of EVPs. So definitely stay tuned for those videos as well. I try to do as many things like that as I can after I visit these cemeteries. Wait until it becomes nighttime and I do the EVPs to see if we can capture any ghosts or any spirits or anything kind of weird on audio or anything like that. Because you never know. You just never know, friends, especially with places like this. Gosh, the amount of snow here is amazing. Especially back over here where it's just like the wind has kicked up all this snow. I'm probably walking through at least a foot of snow. And it is deep, friends. Deep snow. That's okay, we're out here. Here's James Dunn. 1871, 1886. For James Dunn and Anne, his wife. Wow, look at this. This is amazing. This place just goes on, too. Here's last name Taylor. Okay, let's go check out some of these really cool ones over here while we have some sunlight. Looks like the sun is setting pretty quick on us, friends. Okay, look at this one. Very cool. Absolutely incredible. Okay. We've got Donnelly. We've got some weathered ones over here. It's hard to really tell what those ones say. Man, this place goes on forever. Holy cow. Here's Donnelly. Donnelly here. Okay, right next to Donnelly, we've got a very nice old one here. What is it? Extremely weathered? Looks like 1875 for the numbers itself, but I can't really read a whole lot other than that. We've got Donahue. Donahue right here. Got, this is a pretty cool little monument here. Elizabeth, age 14 years old. Catherine, age 17 years old. John, age 15 years old. James, age 24 years old. Children of W. something E. Doyle. May their souls rest in peace. Wow, incredibly sad. Sounds like that entire family unfortunately perished at a very young age. I wonder what happened. You know, back in those days, sicknesses and flus and all sorts of diseases were pretty rampant, so that could have been kind of what happened there, I guess. But there's a really old grave for Catherine Collins. Can't see a date. And then there's likely some kids' headstones right in the back. Behind that, some of their family or what have you. Okay, we'll head over to these monuments here on this side. Check out some of these old ones. There's even some down the hill over there. See one right in the corner back over there. Way back over there. Flynn. It's right here. And we've got an older grave here, and I can't really tell. It looks like McGarry for the name. Some stuff right there. I can't really tell what it says. UN Pace or something along those lines. Not really too sure. Squirrels have been pretty active in this area. Lots of squirrel marks. There's a monument right there. Don't want to go too far down the hill, so I get stuck down there. Squirrels will eat me. Okay, there's even some right at the fence line. I mean, my gosh, this is gonna fall right down that hill. That is incredible that they put those that close to the fence line or the property line. Ellen Farrell, 85 years old, 80 some years old it looks like, which is amazing for back in those time periods. It's almost like unheard of, I guess. Here's a really unique kind of what looks to be a family plot. And there's no way we're reading that. It's so weathered away. These are probably definitely some of the older graves in this entire section. Incredible. Kind of maybe see where we're at as far as the road. Pretty far away from the road now. Here's a grave for Curran. Absolutely incredible. Got a few trees in this area, but really it's not too bad as far as the trees. Squirrels love the trees. Squirrels are having fun. Here we can even see the squirrels have really dug out a lot around this grave. Holy cow. It's almost like they're trying to pick the grave up and take it. The squirrels are stealing the graves, everyone. The squirrels are stealing the graves. Whew. Wow. Look at down this hill. Holy crap. There's no even fence here. It's hard to tell where private property starts and where the cemetery actually starts. Or whatever, or vice versa. Look at this. This goes downhill. There's one grave right here, though. Oh, there's a fence down there. Holy hell. There's a fence that goes down there. There's an older grave. I can't really tell what it says. Too weathered away, unfortunately, but a couple markers like sticks or trees kind of growing out of the ground right next to this tree, so it could have been marked for some reason at one time. Coming up here, we've got some pretty large monuments. So we're gonna check out these spires, or whatever I guess they would be called. I'm not really too sure what these are called. Spires or just monuments, I'm not really too sure. And the one in Washington is called the Washington Monument, so, I mean, I guess it's a monument. Okay. Look at that. Absolutely incredible. Just amazing. Looks like it says McAllister. Just amazing. Okay, right next to McAllister is Kieran's. Right there. Right behind me, I've got a William Walsh and the Walsh family, it looks like. With the latest being buried here, it looks like 1903. Incredible. Okay, let's take a look at a couple more graves because I could spend all day here. Maybe I'll do a live stream here in the future to kind of get everybody on video, I guess, here. So I guess some of these folks probably never thought they'd be on YouTube or on video. That's a bad joke, but yeah, This is a really cool video. I enjoy covering stuff like this. Let's see what we got here. 84 years old. My gosh. Sir, my gosh, you did a good job with life, I would say. Michael O'Connor. Died in 1904, aged 84 years. My gosh, this person was born almost the beginning of the early 1800s. Like, what is that? 1810, 1820, in that range there? That is amazing. That is definitely a long life. Here's a real old one here. Definitely pretty cool. All right, I definitely want to check out this one before we take off and we end this video. I definitely want to check out this really cool old one here. Wow, the amount of detail that is on this monument or gravestone is just incredible. Mother, father, Richard Vaughan, Margaret Vaughan. And that is just one heck of a headstone. Absolutely beautiful. Truly breathtaking. Definitely one of the more detailed headstones here in this entire area. Oh wow, it's been kicked in at one point in time. A little bit of damage right there, but holy cow. What an amazing grave. I don't get to see them very as detailed as these. I mean, the amount of detail on this grave is absolutely stunning. Truly amazing. Okay, you guys, there it is. We're going to end the video here. I appreciate you guys watching this one. This was a bit of a spooky episode here, but it won't get, but it will get much more spooky here later tonight. So hopefully you guys will stay tuned for that video. I'm going to be doing some ghost hunting and some EVPs here in this cemetery. So had a lot of fun covering this and looking to see all the different graves here. It's an amazing piece of history. Hopefully you guys did like the video. If you guys did like the video, make sure you guys hit that like button. It means the world to me. And make sure you guys subscribe too as well for all the adventures coming along. So like I said, I really appreciate you guys watching this video. My name is Josh and I'm the Daily Explorer, and I'm out.